So good. And what an example, because you mentioned it earlier about people creating their own jails or creating their own prisons inside of their circumstances,
Yeah.
right? And I think when you look to the world in the secular concept of culture, that's what a lot of people are doing. And honestly, even though they use taglines like anxiety or depression or overwhelm or fear or limiting beliefs or any of these things, that's ultimately in the hard knocks school, that's just called you're in prison. You've embraced yourself in a jail, and you actually have your own keys. You've seen that meme where there's the bird in the bird cage and the door is wide open, and yet they still think that they're entrapped.
Still in prison, straight up.
So sad. And so how do you break free? How do you get them to go from the mentality of I've lost my legs and I cannot move, I am now bedridden, to I'm gonna drive that Cadillac, baby?
You have to inspire people like where they are. I think at the end of the day, you have to help people to remember. Often we forget. We forget like how many times he's brought us out of situations that we did not deserve to come out of, right? Um, if he did it before, he could do it again, right? If we're still here, it's like my team. I lead large sales teams, right? And outbound specifically is a very difficult thing to do outbound. But I say if the customer's still on the line, they're waiting for the value.
So good.
You called me, you interrupted my day, right? If I don't dunk on you, if I don't hang up immediately, I'm waiting for you to tell me something good.
Come on.
Right? And so if you don't have it, get off the line. But we're still here because there's still something good, right?
Wow.
That God is trying to do. And if you could just remind people, right? If he did it before, he could do it again. But you got to believe right now. Listen, now, if you want to give up, now I don't want to see you go, but I can't wrestle with you about you living now. I want you to live, but you got to live more than I want you to live now. If you really going to live now, Tamra, I'm just trying to help all the coaches in America
Yeah, come
who are
on.
being stressed out by people who really don't want to do it, but they want to suck the energy out of. Listen,
Golly, that's the truth.
I digress.
I'm like, oh man, you said that last line, and I won't say the names, but I see the faces, right? Because all of us have that, and it could be not in the coaching community. It could be in your family, right?
Yeah.
It could be in such
Yeah.
relationship that you need to position yourself in proximity to the people who are life givers, not life drainers.
Sure.
And we as coaches have a choice in that matter. And yet we think we don't, because it goes back to what I said earlier about money. We think that the money makes us have to do something.
Yeah.
Money is not real.
Yeah.
And therefore, you have choice associated to that. You have free will associated to that. And I can assure you, Jesus ain't getting into bed with people who are going to take away anything, right? He intended for intimacy on, and it sounds like I'm talking sex over here, not intentionally, but we can have that conversation too, because 9 babies and all the grandchildren thereafter. But this is where healthy relationships come into play.